So, morning. And thank you, TEDxCUHK, for inviting me and putting me on first. Okay. Everyone started somewhere. And me sharing today doesn't mean that I'm any different, just because I'm wearing a very, very nice dress. I graduated from CUHK and spent most of my youth among these hills. And Shaw College is a very, very special place for me. I believe that, like all of you, university life was eventful and memorable, and for me, Shaw was a particularly memorable place. Because when I recall my journey to where I am now, it all began here at Shaw College, CUHK. It was around 2008. My university life was a blur because PTSD and depression mess up with your brain in that way. From the outside, I studied hard and I never worried about the stress of studies, but I was dying inside. The 18 and 19-year-old me was dying inside without anyone knowing, not even myself. Of course, I realized that eventually, when I found myself here at Shaw College one night at the edge of a window of a dormitory of my friend on the 8th floor with my legs dangling outside in mid-air, looking at the AC unit on my right-hand side, I was mentally pushed to the edge by my then partner, who was very abusive to me mentally, physically, and sexually. He was on the other side of the phone. That I remember. I can't tell you how I got off the window or how my friends dissuaded me from killing myself. That was the closest I've ever got. I can only tell you that I did not die. It took me a few more years to let myself be dragged away from that toxic relationship, a few more to recognize the damage done, and a few more to slowly find a way to navigate the psychological and emotional minefield I've become. And of course, a few more years for me to begin to understand what actually happened to me and what it is doing to me physically, psychologically, emotionally, relationally, sexually, and existentially. The thing about trauma, like abuses, pain, and wounds that push me to the edge of the window is that they don't go away easily. And I often wonder if those stuff define me. So whenever I become close with someone, I ask myself, do I tell them what happened to me? And it's a very, very difficult question. On one hand, I want to share that very, very important part of myself because it is most important for people to understand me in that way. But on the other hand, I fear that they will look at me in a certain way. So I recently told my new partner this when crying, when I was contemplating whether I'm going to say it, and I quote myself, I don't want to tell you because no one should hear those stuff that you will never be able to get out of your head. No one should be hearing those stuff because if you love me, it would pain you in unimaginable ways. But most of all, I don't want you to hear it and look at me and see a body covered with scars, a person so troubled, so broken, that you can't see me apart from my wounds and that I'm nothing else but that. I was worried for the longest time that people cannot look beyond my brokenness because I myself cannot look beyond my own brokenness. Because when I look at myself in the mirror, I couldn't look beyond that shattered piece of my past and the fragments of stuff that have left me damaged and scarred. When I look at myself, I see a damaged good. People always said, pull yourself together, get over it, get a life. That's also something that I've been asking myself to do. I've questioned again and again whether I was failing as a victim, a survivor, or as a person. Am I allowing what happened to me define me and confine me? Am I being weak, letting all those anger, sadness, bitterness, anxiety, or whatnot consume the entirety of my being? Was I refusing to let all of it go because I would not know what to do with myself if I don't have them? As the years went by, I carried the weight of those questions, confusion, and pain with me, all the while not being very conscious about their existence. So I entered into the world of teaching and advocacy, driven by an somehow unnameable desire to do something. But as to what exactly it is, I don't know. So when we say life-changing, it means literally that. Life changed. And for me, what happened to me marked my university life. It also marked the beginning and the end of my youth. But of course, my struggle didn't stop there. It persisted long after I graduated and left these hills. So some of you here might know me as an educator. I see like maybe 2 people that I know. But most of you never imagined someone like me teaching your children. I know my tattoo looks very nice. It's okay. My mom said that I don't look like a teacher like all the time. And I ask myself still, from time to time, what do I have to teach or share with other people? I started my teaching journey in 2014 as a tutor when I was doing my PhD. So during those very, very turbulent years, I found myself divided between the classroom and the streets. And of course, my students were way more present on the streets than on campus. It was, undoubtedly a very challenging and unique beginning for anyone's career as an educator. So in 2014, we witnessed something that our generations has never seen. It was uncharted territories for all of us. And I keep on asking myself, like everyone else, so where do I stand and what can I do? I remember running into a student outside of the female washroom at a shopping mall next to the protest site. She was freaked out, of course, as I was. And we don't know what to make of what just happened. I remember she looked at me in a certain way. I'm not sure whether she was looking for comfort or reassurance or some kind of answer. I still couldn't figure it out. All I remember was that she was wearing like short-sleeved t-shirt, a skirt, non-running shoes, and carrying a very cutesy backpack. And I instinctively told her, probably you should dress more tactically for the occasion so that you won't get hurt. Was it useful? Or was it what she was looking for? Probably not. But what else could I have said to her when me, myself, was also confused and shocked and feeling completely powerless? What I realized was that regardless of our age and position, we were all stripped to our most basic existence as human. We are all fragile, scared, and confused. Who was I to teach them anything? To give them anything that remotely resembles an answer if myself too was lost and stumbling? I could only share with them my confusion, my fear, my vulnerability, and to listen and to take it all in. That was my first lesson as an educator. So as the year passed by, I grew into some sort of an activist working on projects like the Women Festival, a joint project with 2 of my best friends and close collaborator. And the Women Festival is an arts and cultural event that aims to address very, very difficult questions. So one year, I decided to tackle my personal struggles with sexual violence and relationship abuse, which all of you already know. So I thought, it's important for people to hear about it beyond news or some statistic because people are not numbers. So I did. So at that time, I was screening a documentary about sexual violence on US college campus, and I took the chance to talk about abuse and relationship, their intersections, and aftermath. Of course, it was a mortifying experience, but it was also transformative. Because when I was basically having a prolonged panic attack like today, I forgot almost all of what I said and what happened. People came up to me afterwards telling me that they cried. Like that's like the ultimate goal of like speech, like public speaking. People cried, coming to you, oh, I cried. But most importantly, they thanked me because they thought they were the only one who was facing it. And by coming out here and hearing someone sharing it, in such a public and frank manner in a way, they felt like their struggles were being acknowledged. It is real, and I'm not alone. Thank you for being so brave. I thought, great. However, I didn't feel great. Because for me, it was like falling into a nightmare and waking up in sweats and tears. That, I never told them. For some very, very mysterious reason, the programming direction for Women Festival has been so fundamentally rooted in the lives and concerns of the three of us that year after year we're drilling deep inside ourselves, ripping ourselves apart and trying to answer questions that we think are important. Which means that year after year I fell into the same black hole for like 2 months, for like 5 years. And every year I would tell myself I will not do it again because it hurts so much. And then last year, on the 5th Women Festival, the final program of the year, we were at like a sharing of womb stories, like stories that concern your womb. And without giving out others' privacy, I can only tell you that I've heard people's most intimate stories, and a realization suddenly dawned upon me. So this is what it's all about. The work that we've been doing, the thing that we're trying so hard to build. By being as honest and vulnerable as we did, we have somehow created a space for people to be honest and vulnerable too. And the very reason why we're able to do that is because other people also laid themselves bare for us to lay bare in the first place. And then, one day, while having dinner with a former student and later friend, I asked her, out of the blue, "So what do you think about me as a person?" And she said to me this: "Despite your growing public presence, you feel very authentic. Still, you feel like a person. Your persona feels very human." Human. The word struck me like lightning. That comment resonated with me deeply. I felt intrigued and absolutely flattered without knowing why. Human. Is this what I've been doing all along, without knowing what, how, or why? Being open and honest about those things that haunts me, things that I struggle with, questions, anxiety, troubles with work, family, relationships, sex or the lack of, body image issue, eating disorder, depression, PTSD or whatnot. The things that I said I would never tell my partners, I would always tell my student and all of you when I do public sharing like today. This radical, sometimes reckless, and very much brutal honesty, and also an almost obscene vulnerability. Am I just being human? As I contemplated, I slowly realized maybe all of this is just a very, very elaborate way for me to say, it's okay. I understand. It's okay not being okay, and it's all gonna be okay somehow, someday, because I know it. Because I can tell you from experience, that's why I can look you in the eye, hold your hand, and tell you that I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I get it. The ability to imagine pain and to empathize is a capacity. I slowly learned that it's a superpower. It's my superpower. It's two sides of the same coin, really. I have the capacity to be connecting with people and understand because I have been through a fair share of life shitness. And maybe in telling people that, in showing myself in all its bruised fragmentedness, be seen and heard as human, beyond the halo that comes along being on stage in a nice dress, there can be more to this vulnerability that haunts me. Of course, all of that is scary. Like a friend of mine used to say, it's a striptease of scars and failures that no one wants to watch. But then the question becomes, why is this important for me? Because people in pain feels alone. That is something that I know very personally, very painfully. When we're in pain, we feel alone, and that loneliness pains you in turn. Because we feel like we're the only one who is suffering, and there's no one that sees us, our pain, no one understands, no one can, and no one wants to. I want to be human as I possibly can, and embrace my humanness. It's important for me because reflecting on the loneliness that I felt, I thought, if I am human first, in all the weird, broken, messed up way, maybe what I am dealing with, what I have been through, would resonate with some of you out there, that in that particularly unbearable moment in your life, you would at least know that is okay. Because you're here and I'm here, and if all other means fails, at least we're connected in vulnerability and pain. At least we have each other. I thought maybe this is the best thing, if not the only thing I can offer to anyone. What I've realized and learned after so many years of struggle is this: there is power in acknowledging our human strength as well as fragility, our limitations, our being human. I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel nervous, I feel sleepy, annoyed, vulnerable, everything all together, all the time. It's all you, it's all us, because we are only full and complete in that way. Because I'm not just a name, not just a face, not just a job, and neither are you. I'm one thing, but also so many other. I'm everything all at once, just as you are. It's a fact. It's our shared human reality. When I recall my father passing, hence this tattoo, or when I have a nasty breakup, hence this tattoo, I remember when the traffic was shit and my day started awfully. I remember when I climbed back into the room from the edge of that window that is 15 meters away from here, and saw everyone on the street looking unbearably cheerful, and then I remember to be understanding and sympathetic, if empathy is too much to ask. I remember this radical empathy and self-acceptance, to have care and respect for my own heart, my feelings, have sympathy for my difficulty and pain, and that of others. You see me as human because I insist on being human, because I want you to see the humanness in yourself and others. I want you to acknowledge it, accept it, respect it, embrace it, but most importantly, allow it. And that is my method, my pedagogy in teaching, in advocacy, and life in general. And may my little display of being human give you strength to be human too.